I got my little extraterrestrial basketball guy here. And in about 1985, I took a course, a university level course in plant biology. And you'd think by the time you get to university that um, the courses that you're taking would actually be well thought of by the professor. No, what we have, it's a business supplying universities with equipment. It's a business. And the business decides what's going to be taught and how it's going to be taught because they produce all of these show and tell things that are used in, for example, university biology. So in 1985, believe it or not, that was, well, a long time ago. Not really. Um, but, they had invented cameras by 1985. They had invented cameras, and they had even invented color film in 1985. And in 1985, they had invented school grade light microscopes. You could probably go on Amazon and buy one right away if you wanted one of those ones. But, they were at the universities. And so what did we do in plant biology in the lab? Well, they didn't issue us with cameras, and this was before digital cameras. This was film cameras, but they would take damn good pictures. Damn good. You want to be on the cover of Vogue, we would use a film camera. But anyway, in my plant biology course, which was second year, maybe third year of Bachelor of Science, in plant biology lab, well, what they had was a bunch of pre-made slides of plants and a bunch of light microscopes. And your job was to go and find yourself a station, or maybe you just walk around from station to station, and you'd look at this slide, and they would tell you what the slide was. It was like some piece of plant that they took a razor blade and they cut very slim sliver of the plant and put that on a little microscope. What do you call that glass thing? The glass thing, and then there's a lens cover that goes over top of the biological specimen you want to look at. Well, these ones they weren't done that way. They were prepared at the factory, and they were like permanently in this glass holder that goes underneath the light microscope. So you'd look at this, and then what did we do? Well, we didn't take pictures through the light microscope of what it was we're looking at. No, the professor and the lab tech had decided that I guess they ran out of budget, and there was no cameras there. So what we were to do was to take an old HB pencil and a piece of paper and draw what we saw when we looked through the eyepiece of the microscope. Why? How does this apparently, you want to pass plant biology, you got to get really good at drawing what you see looking through the light microscope. Why? They couldn't think of anything better to do with us. Couldn't think. This is a sign that our universities are corrupt. They're not in the business of educating students. They're in the business of, it's a business. Getting the tuition and getting the government grants and getting the alumni to contribute. But as far as higher education, no. This was not a course that I took in art. Fine art. I mean, that's what it should have been labeled as. Fine art. They should have had the fine art students come into the plant biology lab, look through the little eyepiece, and sketch what they saw. Because they're the people that were like, good at drawing, and they went to university to learn how to draw better. I went to university to learn more about biology. And here I am, really not a very good sketcher. And whatever it is that I can see, and I don't really know what it is I'm seeing, I'm just told, this came from a Mangolia, a flowering Magnolia. That's what this is. And it's such a tiny, slim sliver, you only see like a layer of cells. But on the test is you're going to come in here, and all of these things are going to be set up like this, but there's going to be no explanatory note to tell you what you're looking at. So there's like 50 microscopes here. You're going to have 50 slides, and it's not just these 50. There's probably 3,000 slides in this lab, and you got to know every one of them, what plant it is and what you're looking at. And you better come in here on your off time. That's for me, that was my beer drinking time. And you got to come in here and look at all 3,000 of these slides, memorize them, so that when you walk in here on the plant biology lab test, you'll know what you're looking at. And as far as these hand-drawn pictures, well, if you want to pass the lab, you're going to have to do this. I don't know. I can't remember. All I know, that's what they told us to do. So what does it mean? It means they're treating us like we're in kindergarten when we're at university. It's a business. They're not there to teach anything to do with plant biology. In fact, in plant biology, the professor was so bored teaching the same subject over and over, year after year, that he decided he was going to do something new. And he started lecturing based upon the textbook, and he started at the back of the book. If it was chapter 33, he started at chapter 33, lectured on that. And then the following week, he did lecture 32, which was chapter 32. And he worked all the way he could till he finally got to chapter 1. I don't know about you, but when it comes to textbooks, starting at the back and reading towards the front is odd. It's just because, the author of this textbook designed it to be read from page 1 forward, because you get the initial concepts that you need in order to understand the further chapters. You got to get, the basics, which are chapter 1. But my biology professor, who, didn't give a rat's ass, started at chapter 33 and worked his way back and didn't really explain that, I'm bored and I'm going to do it this way. And if you're going to understand chapter 33, you better go and read the first 32 chapters. He didn't say that. I didn't figure it out until I was studying for the final exam, and then it dawned on me, this son of a bitch started on chapter 33, and he worked his way, but no wonder I don't understand anything. I'm completely oblivious. Nothing makes sense to me. And then what I did is I sat down, and I started on page 1 of the plant biology textbook, and I read it starting at page 1, then 2, then 3, then 4, then 5, and I kept going. And after I read the textbook that way, I guess I passed plant biology. I don't know how I passed that lab, because I didn't waste my time going into the plant biology lab and looking at 3,000 slides of God knows what the hell they were. No, I went to the bar and I drank beer. And somehow I passed that course. I don't know how. But I just want to let you know, if someone is pushing you to go to university, don't listen to them. It's a waste of time going to university, a complete waste of time. They're going to do stupid fucking things. You're not going to get a job. You're going to go into debt. All of these goddamn professors in their tenure, it's a scam. It's a huge scam to get your money. That's it. If you really want to advance in our society, I don't think fine art's going to be very good either. You got to work really hard at figuring out a way to scam people, because it's the only way to make real money on this planet. You got to come up with a really good scam. one that's not going to be found out right away, one that's going to be good for about 100 years. So what people do to get into these scams is they get really, really good with their imagination. And they get really good at coming up with new words that we never heard before. And they design their own science, a science of nothing. And they become the resident expert of it. And then they want to get somebody to give them an enormous grant or a great big salary and a great big pension. And that's what they're going to do for a living. And they're going to suck you in. You know that this is the way things are on planet Earth. One of my friends, who, when I was taking this plant biology course, this friend of mine was taking like computers, and nothing to do with computers or biology. We're talking about cars now. And he happened to mention he had a car, and he happened to mention that he thought he needed a new muffler. And then he started talking about what he had learned when it came to muffler shops. And he said, what you got to tell them is, when you bring your car in, don't bang my pipes. The exhaust pipes, the piping system under your car. Apparently what they do at the muffler shop, you bring your car in for a new muffler, they go and they got a great big wrench. And they go under your car and they start banging your exhaust pipes. Ostensibly to see if there's any rust spots. But the real reason is they want to destroy your existing pipe system and tell you, oh, it just rotted out like your muffler. Because they want the business, they want to change not only your muffler, but all of your pipes. And he said, I've seen this happen before where they do this. So, a million different ways to scam human beings for a living. And if you're going to survive on planet Earth, you got to learn to be a really good scammer. What does that mean for your heart? If you're a heart-centered person and you're not about fucking other people over in order to have money to live, you came to the wrong planet. Because if you're a good-hearted person, you're going to get fucked over 12 different ways before you even begin. Because that's the nature of this planet. This is a planet of crocodiles in human skin suits. This is Planet Crocodile.